EVO. This series contains adult language and depictions of graphic violence. Listener discretion is advised. 3, 2, 1. Hello, Criminal Mischief Nation, and welcome back to a very special episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Branden. It's a little early holiday present for everybody. Not that anyone would probably care about this, but Carolyn and I are sitting in the same room together for the first time.
Yeah, and it's weird, I have to tell you. It's weird, but kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon's not making eye contact.
No.
I'm totally trying to force him into
Carolyn
it.
is like lasered in, and it's a little unsettling. Like, I get it. I know you're there. Let's just make it like a human level of eye contact, not like a cyborg
you know what?
level.
It's like when someone won't do it, you got to do it.
No.
You got to do it.
No, you read the room. You're like, oh, maybe they're not ready for direct eye contact yet.
I am. That is so interesting. Like, it takes some time to eat.
Now I'm not going to look at you on purpose.
Okay, fine.
No.
Anyway, we're very excited.
Nice to meet you.
My hands all
Nice
like
to meet you.
that's what they do. They go like that.
Who's
Yeah.
they? Nice to meet you.
That's when you're
Yeah?
confident hug.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
not the confident
Handshake.
hug, but the handshake. Yeah.
So this has been a long time in the works. We have a day ahead of us. This is just the beginning.
Yep.
We're going to be on the hunt for an elusive witness from
Yes.
50 years ago.
Yes.
If I see him on the street, I'm going to tackle his ass and make him confess.
Are you gonna make eye contact?
Deep, intimate eye contact.
I see that happening. Yeah.
Going to be my first time willingly in a sheriff's station. I'm looking forward to
We
that.
have quite. I think you might be a little bit overwhelmed.
Yep.
I wasn't
On the
sure if
right
I
side
should
of it.
warn you or just.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And I've faced two fears today. I'm not great at flying, and I'm not great in elevators, and I had to do both, which is
You know what's crazy?
I'm proud of myself.
I'm first of all, thank you.
Thank you. for
Second
setting
of all,
this up.
I have a fear of flying too. I've never told you this because I don't tell people because it sounds so like.
What's your fear of flying about? Like, what is it about? Crashing? Is that it?
No,
Okay.
it happened. It happened right before. So I went to Mexico on a work thing with friends, and it was like when we were coming back. My husband and I had decided that's when we were going to try for our first child. So obviously I was like really like more interested in getting back than actually being on the trip. He wasn't on the trip with me. It was like a work thing with friends. And on our way, it was like we went through the whole thing where like the air things didn't come down, but it was almost like that.
Really?
Like it
Just
really
severe
turbulence and just like I don't know. I can't even describe it, but that's what started it. And I wasn't ever like somebody who loved flying before then, but it was like not like what it became. So now I'm trying to ease my way back into doing it. But I didn't fly for a really long time. Because,
See, I always go. I never not do something because I'm
and that's where I
I do it. I liken it to a feeling. I was an actor for a really long time. I did a bunch of theater, a bunch of plays, and there's this experience that as soon as you agree and you sign on, yes, I'm going to do this play, there's a low-level anxiety, for me anyway, that doesn't go away until opening night because you know it's coming. You know it's like like an asteroid that you know is coming to smash into the earth, right?
But I mean, is there nervous excitement with it or is it just fear?
It's a little bit of both, and it lessens as you go through the rehearsal process, as you get more confident in your performance and confident in your fellow actors and stuff. But then it spikes on opening night. It absolutely freaking spikes. And so that's how it is. When I plan a trip, I've got that low level anxiety, and for me, it's not about anything. It's basically, and I've worked this out in therapy, I'm afraid of not being there for my family. That's all it is. It's all it is. You know, and so
when did it start then for you? Did it start when you had a family?
Exactly. It started the first time I flew. I couldn't go to my best friend's wedding in Italy because my wife was very pregnant and couldn't fly. So a month later, my daughter still wasn't born. My best friend had a stateside party in Boston, and my wife's like, "Just go to that. Just do a quick turn. I'll go there for a night and come back." And that's when it hit me. Like, whoa, what's going on? I've got the, and so that's what it comes from for me. A little bit after 9/11, I was scared that some maniac was going to try and crash the plane. But
well, and you had a very close relationship to 9/11.
Yeah, with my dad and my brother,
with
right?
your dad and your brother,
Yeah,
a way that most people don't. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, other than victims and their families,
Sure, and
but
being
but
Americans. And
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean that like having your brother be almost on that flight.
Yeah, 94. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So, but and then I was locked. Got stuck in an elevator once, and that fucking freaked me out, which I was not aware. I didn't know was going to happen. And it was so, talk about theater. I was doing a play in an old building in Hollywood, and we had to take this rickety old elevator. And I was there every day, up and down, no problem. And then one night after rehearsal, it was me and a guy that I was like a brother to me. We did all these plays together. And then the ingenue from the show, right? Very talented, really cute. And, and she's kind of like the love interest of both of us in the play. All right. So the three of us get in the elevator. Okay. And she was really kind of like flirty and whatever and really cool. And she said something kind of provocative. And the other guy said, all right, that's it. It's happening. And he hit the stop button in the elevator as like a joke, right? Like, it's happening. We're going to have sex with you right now kind of thing. Right. And we all laugh. I'm like, oh yeah, start the fucking elevator. This is weird. And it broke. And so we're in this elevator, and it affected me in a way that I was not prepared for.
But see, here's the thing. It's interesting that we've now known each other like 3 years, right?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. And I know from our previous conversations where you talked about this thing with your dad in the suitcase. So I'm sure
my brother in the suitcase.
Your brother tried to put you in that suitcase.
Oh, he did put me in the suitcase.
Right, yeah. He did. And you said that you were like
trying to get air. I thought I was going to die.
Yes.
Like all that.
But I mean, it's like the triggering that must have happened as a result.
But I've been in elevators. I lived in this shitty old building in Hollywood where the elevator was the size of a phone booth. And I was in and out of that thing 10 times a day. Never bothered me.
No, but you never know when it's going to.
Right. And when that elevator stopped and it didn't turn back on, like I was on the ground fetal. I was crying. I was like, my fellow actors are like, fuck is going on with this guy? Like, is he okay? And we had to wait, and the Hollywood Fire Department had to show up and like pry the doors open. Like it was, and I was shook for a long time. Yeah. I would avoid going places.
Yeah.
Because there were elevators. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a couple times it was so weird. It was like my fear was rewarded because I was at a party, and it was one of these new condo buildings where the elevator just goes to your floor of your place, and it's great.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to take the stairs. So I take the stairs up. After the party, like 15, 20 people are getting in this elevator. I'm like, no, it's all good still. I'm still going to take the stairs. And the elevator stuck. 3 hours they were in it. 20 people in a small elevator. I would have shit myself. I would have.
You weren't in there.
I was not in there. And I'm so happy. I'm like, I'm free.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to remind myself I'm not in there. I didn't do it. I had a little kind of residual fear from that because I almost got in. I almost let them kind of shame me, right? into getting in, and I didn't, and I was proven right. But anyway, so I did both of those things to be able to sit here and to finally meet you. So,
and I'm so grateful for it. Thank you. Thank you.
And of all of those things that scared me, what you did was more dangerous, just driving in your car.
I know that. I know the statistics. I know I'm sure part of it too is that I'm just kind of controlling in a weird way, like not in
really?
many.
No.
Stop.
What?
Not in every way, not in every capacity of my life. Okay. All right. I'm just saying I know that it is more dangerous to drive. Mm-hmm. And I was like doing some serious hydroplaning on my way here, by the way.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah.
But what I want to talk about, and I haven't brought this up beforehand.
Okay.
What I want to talk about is how doing the show with you has affected me as a person, as a father, as a creator, as a podcaster. Okay.
Oh my gosh, Brandon's making eye contact, so look out. I feel like I'm going to get something good.
Because it has been relatively profound in some ways that I wasn't really aware of until I started thinking about it last night, this morning on the plane, and my several Uber drives since I've been in the great state of Oregon. And the first one, the very first one,
yes,
is it goes all the way back to the episode that the podcast Cold was based on, that you did a shorter version of.
Yeah. The Susan Powell case.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that they didn't check the bedroom that the girl was in, right? That until morning, right? Where if they had checked the bed, where there was something in it where if they had just, the mom or someone had peeked the head in and seen, they would have seen that it was empty, that the bed was empty, that the girl had already been removed. I hope it's the right case I'm talking about.
I don't think you're talking.
I may be confusing.
I think you're confusing it because we've done so many. So
yeah, but
what were some of the circumstances? And
the circumstances were, and again, I'm probably confusing them.
Oh my gosh, no, I know what you're talking about.
What am I talking about?
Yes, the little girl in California, and the mom was dirty dancing with the guy that.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's not the Powell one. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
I confused that one. The Powell one was with the RV in the desert and all of that, right?
No, the one that you're talking about with the little girl and checking on her, that's the RV.
Okay, that's the RV in the okay, yeah.
The Powell one is the mom who basically the dad went camping or took his little boys, and then she disappeared, and they've never found her.
It was. Okay.
Okay.
It was the cold case wasn't about a child.
Do you want to pick this up? Can you edit this, or do you want to keep it the way that it is? Okay. Well, this is YouTube. We're going to be doing YouTube.
Right. We've done 100 episodes. It's okay if I conflate some of them. But so that one.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That one affected me probably more than any other, which might be why I have kind of a foggy recollection of it, because I try to block it out, right? Because that one really, really fucked me up.
Yeah.
And so.
I need to tell you, I need to pause here for 1 second. I want you to go on, but I actually know how these things affect you, and I actually choose to not do stories.
Oh, really?
That I do. I do think about you when I think about.
Okay.
And I don't like them either. Obviously, I mean, I have 5 kids, so I get it. Yeah. But I definitely think, oh man, I think that this will really upset him. I actually do think about that.
Okay, well that's good. That's nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It is nice. Yeah.
So I obsess about checking on my kids before I fall asleep.
Wait, okay. I thought this was going to be some good stuff that I was getting.
I make sure every door is locked.
Okay.
Obsessively.
All right.
And then beyond that,
okay.
I'll just admit it, because we have a 1-story house.
Yeah.
Okay. Windows. Yeah. Right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I set little booby traps. So if some motherfucker tries to get in the house and they're able to disable the window lock, it's going to make a lot of noise and wake everybody up.
I need to press on my microphone with my nose just to hold my head up here.
I do. And I'm telling you, I will sit up. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot the booby trap in my youngest's room. And so I go in there and I do. It's not some elaborate machine. It's very simple, gravity operated.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay, no, it's gravity operated little things.
Remember in Misery?
Sure.
Remember how she had the
little penguin?
Little hairs?
Oh yeah,
and the penguin?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's more akin to McAllister in Home Alone. All right, it's that level of ingenuity.
I get it.
Okay, all right.
I get it. Yes.
And so and I'm serious as a fucking heart attack. Like that has to be done.
Yeah.
Or cancel. When I'm away.
Yeah.
I make my wife do it. Right. And my kids know what it is, and it's because, in large part, to that case, and in a smaller way to all of the rest of them. Okay.
God.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yes, so that's one.
Okay.
That's one of the main ways, is that my house is more secure with the thought process of a 10-year-old. Okay.
Got it.
Look, we have alarm, we have locks, we have all of that.
Yes, yes.
But just in case someone is able,
you got to sleep at night. The work that we do in the cases.
Circumvent my security, they will be foiled by some very simple mechanisms.
Get it.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's great that you, it shows who you are, that you, think about these things and you're not just like a consumer of it without thinking,
Yeah. And my oldest is 14 and some boys are circling and you try and get in. Yeah.
Oh my.
Try.
Wow.
Yeah.
If they've met you, I'm sure they're not even going to try.
I'm not a gun guy. We don't have weapons, right? I have a can of bear spray under my bed for whatever.
All right, moving on. Let's
but
go
anyway,
to the next thing.
So security of my family
Yes.
has been increased
because
of this.
Okay.
And then the other thing is working with a partner, doing stuff like this. Because normally the only stuff that I do is scripted. I don't do conversational kind of stuff, to be honest. I don't like conversational podcasts. I don't like listening to people who aren't interviewers think that they can interview people because they're a celebrity or because they're an athlete, whatever. You know, I like good interviewers.
Yeah.
You know, like Howard Stern is amazing at it.
Absolutely.
Joe Rogan, say what you want about him. He's a great interviewer.
Yeah.
Because he's curious, he's interesting. A lot of these interview type shows, I think the hosts have some preconceived notions of where it's going to end up. And I think the best ones don't. The best ones they don't know where the path leads and they just go with it, you know? Well,
and I mean, it's more than just that. Like what the years and years and years of training to make someone a really good host. Like it's incredible.
And I don't have it.
And I think it's cool because it organically happened. We didn't try to do it. You know, when we were just doing Criminal Mischief, you know, narration. And then somebody was like, hey, you guys should do some crosstalk. Yeah. And we're like, okay, you know, for some bonus content. And it just kind of kept, you know, we just kept, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
It's mostly okay. I know you don't get into the comments. I like some of them, especially the ones where I just get skewered. It's okay. Love them anyway.
I don't because, and this drives my husband crazy, but I just don't want to. I have this thing where it's like, if I feel like I've done the best that I possibly can, and I try to do that. Yeah. I mean, I have to let that go because I really love what I do. Yeah. And I don't want to, but I'm human, you know, so like, I don't want to infect my head with, I don't even know this person. Sure. You know? Yeah. And so I just have to, and my husband's like, but you're not hearing all the good. And I'm like, you know what? I love what I'm doing. It doesn't matter with the good or the bad because I know how I feel inside.
It's very Kipling of you.
It's not. It's more just like therapeutic where I can't.
Kipling said if you could meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, it's the same thing.
I know, but it's not like I'm doing it for some noble reason.
No,
like,
but it's just who you are.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't.
Well, I'll tell you, out of every 100 people, 90 of them love the main show, and 60 of them like the bonus content.
Oh, okay.
There's about 20 of them that think I'm an asshole.
I know,
but they're always louder.
But that's what I love about you. I mean, honestly, like I find that so because like people might look at us and just be like, how did these two in this universe? How did this ever?
Right, because I'm so cool and you're a square. Yeah, I get it.
Right, exactly. That's what the comments say. Yeah, but I mean,
Brandon's so cool.
But here's the thing: it's
Carolyn's
like
holding him back.
People don't. What? Okay, you took me off my thing. What? What?
You were talking about, you know, how great I am and what you think is so great.
Okay, you know what? I'm not doing this with you. Forget it.
They like you more, and that's okay. That's fine. That's how I would want it to be. That's great.
Because you thrive on that. That's the thing. It's genuine that you're like, bring it on. And it's like, I love that you can take that. Because, like, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to take that. So I'm happy that you're cool. And I believe truly that you are. I mean, you still have feelers in there. I've seen them. I've seen them many times. But I'm just saying when it comes to
whatever
I've learned from you about that, you know, because I'm super over analytical. And this has been a good exercise for me to just be like, not curating everything I say and not being worried about what everybody is going to think, you know? And
I was surprised by your hatred of drifters.
Stop.
You put so much.
No, you interpreted. I was saying how people always want to blame things on drifters. They're always the easiest scapegoat. And you just ran with it. You just ran with it.
That's not really how I remember it going. No, I just... Seriously, I was like, whoa, she's got some feelings.
No, because I was like,
drifters. Like, are there even drifters anymore? Like, that's like such an 80s kind of.
I know.
This drifter came into town and he was handsome and dangerous. No, I mean that. Right? I don't even know what you're talking about.
But I never said drifters are handsome and dangerous. What the hell?
I'm saying the overall feeling. What comes to you? What image is conjured when you hear the word drifter?
I'm trying to tell you. That was you reflected back into you, because
I
was like,
I don't think it
the
was.
drifter is always blamed. That's where the butter came from. I was like, the drifter. It's like, if you go into town and someone's just been killed, look out.
Watch out for the drifter.
Watch out for the drifter. Watch out for the drifter.
So the drifter's the scapegoat, I guess. But you were particularly fearful and
I wasn't
pejorative when it came to drifter.
No, let's go to a new
I'm just saying that's something that I learned about you.
You loved it. And see, what I've learned too is the more I try to react to you, the worse it gets. So that's why I've learned along this journey, like the more I get, like my voice starts getting higher.
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
Another thing I learned during the course of this is that I am indeed not a journalist. Okay. And you learn that, and not that I ever thought that I was. That I ever thought that I was. I'd been accused of trying journalism, although I never claimed to try to be. I'm a storyteller. That's what I've always said.
I don't think you've ever claimed to be a journalist. In fact,
I haven't.
You haven't.
I haven't. I've been accused of trying to.
No, I know, but I think that's not a fair.
I think the first episode or two of my first show of Devil Within could be misinterpreted as journalism by some of the more ardent kind of consumers of true crime. Okay. By the end, I'm not a fucking journalist.
You're
at
a
all.
Storyteller.
And that's the thing. But I know because you're a journalist and a storyteller. Okay. So it's possible to be both. But I don't like having the ethical restraints that a real journalist has. Right? Like if I hear something that might be true, I really don't want to bother with getting corroboration or getting 3 sources. If it's an interesting story that I think people would like, I'll just.
But I think that's the thing that you always say. I'm not a journalist. Yeah. It's people who say that they're a journalist and have that same feeling when they're not. So, I don't think that's a problem for you.
No, it's not a problem for me. It's just been a problem for some other people. That's all.
Well, again, we already going full circle. You don't care, so.
That's okay. Yeah, it's all right. It doesn't mean that I don't care about other things. Just others' opinions of me, I really don't care about.
I know. I think that's really healthy. Right. I think that's great. Like I said, I've learned to be a little bit more like that because it's like, this business is brutal, and you have to have that kind of thick skin to do it, and we're lucky to have this platform and this position to be able to do it, and so
I agree.
It's like it's just part of my journey to be like, okay, I can't worry about what everybody thinks, and so yeah.
Well, what has been your favorite case thus far that we've done? Because we're at 107 right now, which means it's 200 crazy. Episodes counting our bonus content.
It's crazy. I mean, I feel like the ones that keep me up at night, like when after our process is I submit it on Sunday and then I go to bed, and then like I'm haunted by them and I can't sleep, and I'm not making traps, in my house for my kids, but
not yet.
But like, just trying not to have it affect when I go hiking and things like that. It's like, or letting my kids go and do things.
We've had some terrifying hiking.
We have. And you know what? I just went hiking the other day and I
saw a drifter. Sorry. I was just teed up. I mean, it was right.
I know. I gave it to you. Okay. I gave it to you, but I feel like I'm never going to live this down. And it wasn't.
You were very prejudiced against drifters.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. All right, anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. All right.
But I was thinking about this, and gosh, I was thinking what.
You were hiking.
No, I think that these hiking ones really like, and I don't even like to speak of it.
Do you hike at weird times when there's no one else around? Like,
No, but like I don't even want to talk about this because
really? Because it fucks you up that much?
Well, because I don't want
Wow.
people to know my schedule and just be like,
oh, wow.
like-
I'm going to wait. I'm a dirty drifter, and I'm going to wait for Carolyn in the woods.
stop.
Okay. Oh, I get it. Just go when there's other people around.
I can't because I have my
You have your
schedule
life.
of
I
things.
get it.
I have my life, and I don't. And that's the thing about like the fear of flying and the fear of getting into elevators and the
Right.
fear of like I'm not gonna let my fear, stop me from doing what I really love. But
Well,
these cases, whenever I do it, I'm always like, and
Well, look, fear isn't completely unfounded, first
I know,
of all.
I know.
This helps us survive as a fucking species.
I understand, and
Okay.
I lean into it.
All right.
Believe me, I totally gut. I'm
Good.
gutting, but then there's that other thing where it's like you let fear stop you from doing what you really want to do, and that's, I guess that's the way it makes sense to me. If there's something, like I will quit something if I know that I'm really not into it, but I won't quit it if I'm afraid.
Right.
Like I'm afraid that, there's that push-pull of fear and excitement, and it's like, if I'm really afraid and I get that, then I'm like, I'm not going to quit because it's just me trying to sabotage myself,
Yeah.
This is different. This is that more fear of like, this is what I want to do. But I think that, I love doing the historical ones,
I was just thinking of the one where I learned what Shanghai meant.
Yeah,
It was a good one.
The Billy Ghoul.
Yeah. That was a really good one.
that was a really good one. Because it lets me. I mean, I have so many. Even though I say that I really love what I do with true crime, like being a journalist, being a reporter, storyteller. What I absolutely love about that is telling other people's stories and learning new things. Because whatever story you're, and I've been fortunate to be able to interview and talk to a lot of different people and do a lot of different storytelling over my career.
Yeah.
And I've learned so many things, and that's what I love. So like these historical ones, they really allow me to like learn about things that I didn't know, like Shanghaiing and history and stuff like that,
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I like when you get more historical. Tougher to get kind of relevant interviews, but you always find somebody. So that's good. How do you do that? What's your secret for getting your interviews? Just cold calls? Is just cold emails? Is that
no? There's a real art to it. Like there's just I guess the experience that I have of knowing how to just, and I don't want to be like one of those people of like, oh, I'm so experienced.
right?
But really, it's just asking. A lot of times people just don't ask. And
Right. Over what? Like over email or Instagram or LinkedIn or?
you know what? It's part of the journalist, trying to find people. So you find the people that you want, or, and then you reach out to them. And then, you want to do it in a way that makes sense. And having, it kind of builds, this kind of, being a writer and a storyteller builds on itself. Like once people can see the work that you've done, they're looking you up before they say yes. And so then it's like, that helps, so it's
Yeah, I'm not very good at that aspect of it. About getting people. I don't try really hard. I get discouraged kind of easy, but I'll get better at it. I'll get better at it. I'd rather just sit in my office and just write, and then walk 10 steps into my recording studio and record, then walk 2 steps to my editing station and edit and publish.
Oh, I'd love talking to people. Like that's under my conditions. Cause see, like I'm like an extrovert and an introvert. Like my extrovert, like when I'm working and I'm talking and I'm interviewing, like that's like one aspect of myself. But then when I'm like just at home and just like, I'm very introverted. I don't like, I won't try to go out and like, hey, how are you? Like, that's not me, like I can't, I think because when you talk to people a lot, you kind of have to, you need that solitude,
Yeah, I try to go for both. I try to not talk to people and still have solitude.
That's not true.
It's really true.
I've seen. We've been friends and coworkers for 3 years.
Yeah.
You're really good talking to people. What are you talking about?
Who have you seen me talk to but you? Oh, and on meetings. Okay.
We've been.
Okay, sure. And Zoom meetings. You know how easy that is? talking about like in person.
I just don't. You're
Got,
not.
like,
You're
3
not
friends.
somebody. You're not somebody. You do. Anyway, okay. If you want to say that you can't talk to
No,
anyone,
look,
okay.
I give good meeting. That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'd rather just work and go to my kids' volleyball games and just live. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally get
Yeah.
that. I get that because I'm like that too in my own way. Like I love interviewing people because I love learning. Like I just love putting it all together.
Yeah.
I love it. I love getting a great interview. It just makes me so happy.
Yes.
You know, like when we were doing recording something, and I was like, yes. And I said, great, perfect, Branden. You're like, we're keeping that in there. But like, I just love it when when someone says exactly what they say in their own words, but it's going to really help tell a story. Like,
I'll tell you what I love. I love when you get a great interview and you record it properly.
Okay. How did I know?
That's what I love. Okay.
Okay.
When you get a great interview and I'm going, wait, what? Okay, I can kind of hear it. Then I get a little
zen.
Get a little angry with Carolyn.
I know you're not the only person.
Yes.
You're not the only person. Yes. I know that I have this quirk. I get it.
Yes. You'd think completely. 107 episodes in.
I know.
We could avoid that. Now, some of the stuff that you get, which is great, some of this pre-existing kind of material where the sound is bad, sometimes, unfortunately, we can't use it. But a lot of times it's really, really, really powerful. And how do you get that stuff? Are those just public information requests? Or?
Yeah, public information requests, just a lot of stuff is out there, in the zeitgeist.
Right.
And so I think that, I mean, and sometimes it's interesting because sometimes it's free and sometimes you have to pay for it, like with the different organizations.
Really?
Yeah. Like the stuff with the nanny, like, you have to.
Where 4 people pronounced her name differently.
Yes.
Each time in one episode.
Yeah. So, they have, you have to pay for it. Yeah. You have to pay for it.
And where are they? They're back east. Where are they?
Yeah. They're in
Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah.
That. Whatever police department, you've got to pay for their stuff?
Yeah.
Is that legal?
Yeah, because
Didn't we already pay for it with taxes?
You know what? When I was doing the GRK stuff, it's like I still get stuff from that and we don't pay for it because it's part of what we get.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like,
that's interesting.
Yeah. Just a little
that was great stuff that you
curtain.
got from Virginia. That was great.
It was, and
those 911 calls. Woo, man, they were acting up a storm. Now looking back on it,
wait a second, you were all into it.
Yeah, I was. They were great. They were great.
Yeah.
Okay, and I still, I mean, and I know I'm maybe being a little prisoner of the moment here because it was a very recent episode, but what they did. To that poor guy.
I know. We keep coming back to it.
Because it was
crazy.
So smart. Like I'm telling you, it was almost the perfect crime. It was almost the perfect crime.
Oh, but it wasn't.
No, you tell a guy, you catfish a guy, I want you to come over here for rough sex and I want you to pretend that you're breaking into my house. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be really into it.
Yeah.
What do you expect? I mean, no matter how crazy the woman is fighting you off, you're gonna think, wow, she's really into it.
But you know what? I've been thinking
and it's gonna look like a break-in and a crime scene.
I know, but the people, like, to your point, you said this in a previous episode, you were like, it's freaks me out to think of how many people probably get away with murder.
Yes.
And you're right. I should have made a caveat to this. When people don't talk,
and
they don't, and there's not a law enforcement agency that's like suspicious,
keep their mouths shut.
And they keep their mouths shut. Yes, I totally agree. And in this case, that was like never going to work.
Right.
That was never going to work with that type of salacious.
You have to do it alone, probably.
And like, yeah. So I know you think it's like amazing.
Yes, I do. But so that case, that recently, and a lot of the stuff that's ongoing. The Gilgo Beach one, I've really enjoyed your work on that and talking about that lunatic, allegedly. And
on the Karen Reed with the whether or not
right? She got a new trial, right?
I don't know. I don't think it's started yet, but they're trying to do that thing where it's not. to try her for murder again would be considered like double jeopardy. I think that's what the latest turn is in that, because the jury
with
did
prejudice
not,
or without prejudice. It would.
The jury did not convict on murder one, and so she's, her lawyers are like, hey, they said no, so,
And most recently, you playing your violin for the Menendez brothers, right? Because you totally buy in, and
I was surprised by that. I was surprised by that.
Not there yet.
You know what? I just, like I said, I admit my bias straight up. Like when I was watching them testify, I hadn't seen that except for, when it came out, maybe like one sound bite here or there, like other people. Like I was just doing other stuff, but I sat and watched and listened to quite a bit. And is this Bart rolling through?
Yeah, and they got you, huh?
And they got me and I think it's obviously, we talk a lot about our bias. I'm not even biting that bait. Okay. Okay.
They shotgunned their parents in the face.
I know.
I'm pretty sure they would have gotten their stories straight before they did that.
I just don't. You saw the nanny as being totally like
the Brazilian woman.
Yeah. You were all in on that.
Yeah,
I'm telling. Yeah. I didn't buy it for a second.
That's great.
Okay,
that's why this works.
I know, and
there we go.
And this is how
why it works.
Our biases are whatever they are. You were like, and watching the sons, like I couldn't help but think of my own sons, and just. Mm-hmm. So yes, I will raise my.
I'm just withholding.
Mm-hmm. I know, but I don't think. See, that's the thing. I can't give you what you want. I don't know what the parents could say or what proof there is.
Because they had their heads blown off with shotgun blasts, right? So that's what I'm saying. They're not around to defend themselves.
You're right,
against these crazy claims.
And I think it's great that you are standing up for people who. Can't speak for themselves. We talk about that a lot with the victims. And
it's not even that I'm this altruistic guy. What I'm saying is that for claims like that, okay, and I haven't heard episode 2 yet, and I haven't watched any of the new media on it, okay? Yeah. So you're going to jump down my throat here. But with claims like that, absent corroboration from other victims, you would have to agree or you'd have to believe that this guy was a fucking psychopath and only liked raping his own sons. Okay, to believe them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're gonna find out.
Okay.
Okay. But what I'm saying is that I feel context is everything, and it's so missing in our world today. And I think that like the fact that we always have to keep that in mind of like, the parents aren't here to say
right. So that we're missing that context.
So we're missing that. Yeah. And it's been so long ago, and now you're just looking at them and you think, gosh, if this is true, and they've been sitting in there for 35 years, and then they had this, I mean, I'm not of the opinion that, just because you're wealthy means that you're happy.
No, God,
but I think a lot of people.
Tolstoy, I don't.
Right, but I think a lot of people think that way. Like, how could you? They had everything. They had the silver spoon in their mouth. Oh. Blah, blah. And it's like, right. And I just don't believe that. I've talked to too many people, met too many people.
I know a lot of rich people that are really, really happy. Okay. But it's not because they're rich.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
I mean, you assume that if you're rich, you're going to be pretty happy, right?
No, you'll have a lot of cool stuff. Doesn't mean you're happy.
You don't assume that if you have a lot of money that you're unhappy. Like, I think that's just the American way. Like, that's what's going to make you happy. And it's not always the dream that people say that it is,
No, it's not. Well, listen, we have other things to get to, so we're going to wrap this up. But it was wonderful to meet you and to do this in person.
I agree.
And I look forward to more of this and what the rest of the day brings. And in the meantime, I don't even know when we're going to drop this. Maybe it'll be a little Christmas present sometime in December. But
I just crossed my eyes just for you.
Yeah.
Just because you were worried about eye contact.
And it's been a lot of fun. And I hope that everybody out there shares in the excitement of Carolyn and I meeting for the first time.
I know
because it's really not that exciting, but it's kind of exciting.
We're spazzes because it's a weird thing.
Yes.
Like I was talking to
It
my
was a
mom
COVID relationship,
as
and now it's,
I was driving in, and I said, you know, it's weird because you feel like you know someone really well, and yet I've never had this type of a relationship before, and then it's like there's just this other thing where it's like so it's good. It's all good.
It is all good. So thank you for listening, and more later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
From Cloud 10, Criminal Mischief is a pie-in-the-sky production recorded in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself. Music by Soundstripe. I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host.